Robert. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, how are
I'm good. How are you?
you? Doing good. I'm sorry I'm late. I have no good excuse. I just was like, oh, I've got like 10 minutes. And I decided to vacuum, and then I just was distracted and didn't realize I was late.
It's fine with me.
How are you? How was your Christmas?
It was good. We had people over hosted this year. How was yours?
Oh, that's fun. It was good. It was a little bit quieter. We were all kind of spread out this year, so a little bit of a smaller
Okay.
holiday, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit smaller gatherings.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty, so where are you at with everything in your voiceover stuff?
So I'm working on there's this volunteer project. I decided
Okay,
it's an animated fan-based Star Trek series, and
very fun.
it's a CGI cartoon movie.
Okay,
So I figured that's what I want to be doing, animation. So might as well just
right.
get started with one just to have the experience. And
And you never know who is going to discover that.
yes,
So it sounds like
exactly.
it's more of a new media, like probably a YouTube series kind of thing, like something that's
Yeah.
going to be a new media category. But what's great about that is that, like I said, you never know who's going to see it and hear it. So I say, go for it. If it's something that's fun and that's enriching, and also you might meet some people,
Yeah.
that you enjoy working with and who want to work with you in the future. So I think that's great.
Yes. So the creator asked me to send him some copies of previous voice acting work. So I just
Yeah,
sent him my Voice 123
nice.
link that has like all of my recordings, reels, and 5-minute samples from audiobooks.
Cool.
And he really likes my work and gave me
Nice.
some lines to read for a character named Mr. Smith.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, let me see. I have the information. Mr. Adams.
Okay.
And he is part of the Starfleet. He's one of the officers. And he describes him. Let's see what the description is. He's a nerdy, loves science, and I recorded what I thought he was looking for.
Sure.
But he said um, he wants it to me to ham it up a little bit more, and he said, I like the quality and volume in your takes. The work is for animation, however, so we really need to ham it up to bring out Mr. Characters.
Yeah.
You do
So
to,
a little more dramatic,
yeah.
right?
I kind of was imagining it as more serious character, kind of like I was kind of channeling um, Dr. Sulu in the original Star Trek series.
Okay. Yeah.
So he sent me a recording of what he wants, and I could put that in the chat so you could hear it and kind of get an idea.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a different style, right?
yeah,
And also, you know, depending on if it's comedic, if it's dramatic, different productions can have their own kind of style. If you were in New Girl, or you were in How to Get Away with Murder, or you were in The Boys, or you were in Bob's Burgers, like all of these shows have a very different vibe. They have their own energy, right? And so you have to figure out, one, this isn't narration, this is playing a character. And then two, you have to figure out what is the style of this particular show.
yeah,
Yeah, so it sounds like, they'll give you more insight and direction. Um, Yeah, so it sounds like he gave you some feedback and said, "Here's more what I'm thinking," and you just had a different kind of character in mind, and so that will happen sometimes.
Yeah. And it's good to know, get an idea of exactly what he wants.
Yeah, so being directable, being
Yeah.
flexible, being able to take the note and adjust. Important skills.
Yeah. So I sent that in the chat to you.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Great. Yeah, so he gave you some tips on what he is wanting. And so, what would you say was kind of your interpretation of that? What did you kind of land on, I guess? Or like when you took the notes, what were the things that you were like, okay, I'm going to, approach it this way?
A bit more youthful than I was imagining,
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
and definitely
That's a good word.
more animated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. More animated. Love it. Yeah. So just a very different energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just taking a listen here and I've got the script in front of me. So I'm okay. Yeah. So do you have any thoughts on so where do you want to go from here with this? So do you feel like you've got a good first take then? At what step are we here?
I still think I need some more practice.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, yeah, it's just a little bit more a little more animated, a little
Yeah.
more emotive, expressive. With narration, it's kind of like you get a vibe and you just kind of stay in that energy, right? Especially when you're doing nonfiction. And here, he wants it to be a little more elevated and energized. So
Yeah.
think of like if you just had a couple shots of espresso,
Yeah.
or like a sugar rush, and then you try the script again, or like you were saying, youthful. If you think
Yeah.
of, how a kid would do the script, or you think of, somebody that has that youthful energy, right? What would they do with the script?
Right.
Yeah. So I think that makes sense. And you've been doing so much narration that it is going to be a little bit of a transition. I do think that sometimes commercials can have that kind of higher energy. I wouldn't say this is quite. It's not as slow as narration usually is, and it's not
Yeah.
quite as fast as commercials tend to be. You're going to have more pitch variation. Did you notice that in
Yeah.
the recording he sent you?
Yeah.
A lot more pitch variation. And I feel like you can play with your pauses, like lengths of pauses, shorter and longer, like how much time do you want to give between, like for those beats. So, yeah, so I think it's just a little more like elevated. So if you think of like 10 times the energy that going from narration into this.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit
Definitely.
faster, a lot more of the pitch variation. You can vary your speed more. With narration, I feel like it's a little more steady, but with this, you can vary your speed a lot more. So you can do one line a little bit slower, and then you'll have a pause, and then the next line you can do a lot faster, right? And it's going to change the energy. So yeah, I think that's going to keep it really active. That's the goal. We want this character to be very alive and active and in the moment. And it
Yeah.
also should feel like this isn't planned, but it's like just unfolding in the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot more high energy. And keep in mind that as a voice actor, they don't have facial expressions. They don't have the posture and the gestures and things the same way that we do with a live actor. So your voice has to express all of those different things. Yeah?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So, so what lines do you want to start with here?
I think just start from the top. I got my Audacity out, so you just start
Okay.
recording, and if we get a good one, then I can send him that.
Perfect. Okay. Love it.
Okay, let me pull up the script here. So I think I'll just do the whole thing, and then you could give me feedback afterwards.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Okay, here we go. Actually, hang on a second. I'm going to adjust my setup here.
Okay. Yeah. That's perfectly fine.
I
Yeah,
normally
kind of
stand up.
preparing. Yeah.
I normally stand up when I record, so I want to.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a great idea. I think that standing up is going to help you to keep that higher energy.
Yeah,
It's going to help you to engage your body.
yeah. Okay, here we go. A plasma burst, Captain, with a Romulan signature. It is, sir, but it's barely a shadow on our sensors. The emissions from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us the emission from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us a clear reading, sir. Even those protomatter discharges are too weak to show her up. Yes, yes, sir. Not phasers, but a concentration burst of photon torpedoes in the right spot could ignite the protomatter. Captain, the enemy is coming about. Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online. Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline, and she is adrift. Their life support system is damaged, but functioning. Captain, their impulse drive is coming online. Captain, the protomatter explosion cleared the energy in a small section of the nebula wall, and they're making straight for it. I am letting them crawl. If the nebula doesn't finish them first, they're still going to have a bumpy ride. It's difficult to be certain, sir, but the buoys picked up a faint reading of activity inside the nebula in this vicinity. Scanning. Sir, I'm detecting an energy reading beyond the nebular wall. It's a Romulan plasma torpedo. No, sir, unknown, Captain, but it ignited a pocket of protomatter much like we did, and, sir, I'm detecting a ship coming through the gap it created. Don't shoot. Oops, wrong line. Sir, the Romulans are powered down. The Romulan weapons are powered down. They haven't even raised shields. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Good. So I think that we definitely are getting higher energy there. It definitely, you raised the stakes, is a comment you'll get from directors a lot. And so with that, it's like, why is this urgent, right? So you've got this urgency to it, which I think is really great to hear. So I love the urgency. I would like to hear a little bit more pacing variation there. And I also want you to kind of like pause long enough to read through the line before your line and try to react to the line before. Think about how would they say this line, how would they express that, and then try to make it a more of a reaction. Okay?
Okay.
Rather than like just a declaration every
All right.
time, more of reactive to whatever happened just before. So take a little bit more of a pause between,
Got it.
think
Okay.
through the line and what they would do with it, and then try to react.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Take two. A plasma burst, Captain, with a Romulan signature. It is, sir, but it's barely a shadow on our sensors. The emission from the nebula isn't strong enough. The emission from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us a clear reading, sir. Even those protomatter discharges are too weak to show her up. Yes, yes, sir. Not phasers, but a concentration burst of photon torpedoes in the right spot could ignite the protomatter.
Captain, the enemy is coming about. Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online. Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline and she is adrift. Their life support system, their, their life support is damaged but functioning. Captain, their impulse drive is coming online. Captain, the protomatter explosion cleared the energy in a small section of the nebula wall and they're making straight for it. If the nebula doesn't finish them first, they're still going to have a bumpy ride. It's difficult to be certain, sir, but the buoys picked up a faint reading of activity inside the nebula in this vicinity. Scanning. Sir, I'm detecting an energy reading beyond the nebular wall. It's a Romulan plasma torpedo. No, sir, Unknown, Captain, but it ignited a pocket of proto-matter much like we did, and... Sir, I'm detecting a ship coming through the gap. I'm detecting a ship coming through the gap it created. Sir, the Romulans' weapons are powered down. They haven't even raised shields.
Okay, take two.
Okay. All right, good. So I want to go through for a second. And I want to think about a little bit more of the point of view. So, like when you say that their shields are down, is that confusing to you? Does that make you nervous? Do you think that's funny? Or are you like, oh, what idiots? Why are their shields down? Like, we're going to decimate them, you know? So, thinking more about like what that point of view is and where you're coming from. So, why are you saying what you're saying? And what's your goal in saying that? And also, whatever your point of view is. So, your first line, what would you say are the main key words there? What do you think is your goal in saying this line? What do you want or need in this moment? And what do you think is your point of view or perspective?
So I'm sitting in the what do they call that in Star Trek? Like the main area where the captain sits and the crew is sitting.
Yeah, like mission control or like you know, meet me at
the bridge.
The bridge, yeah.
Yeah. So the description here says red alert sounding, sparks and smoke visible, bridge crew still getting up from the floor after plasma torpedo hit. So this is right after they got hit
so
by
they
a plasma
just
torpedo.
had, you just felt that, you know, there
Yeah.
was just a hit, and that's probably kind of scary. You know, I mean, if I were on a ship and it had just gotten hit, I'd be a little panicky there, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be like nervous and scared, right?
Yeah.
So how would you say that if you're scared in this moment?
The first line is a plasma burst captain with a Romulan signature, and the descriptor before that says groggy, agitated, looking into the viewer, then at Captain Haley. So
Okay.
it kind of sounds like he was,
Sleeping on the job?
or maybe he was knocked out by the impact and like almost knocked.
Oh, yeah, that could be that you were knocked out. Yeah. Right. And that you're like just coming to,
Yeah,
like you hit your head really hard and you're like, ugh.
yeah,
And then maybe you're just like reading this off the screen and you're like, oh, it looks like it was this. And you're just like, you know, trying to get your bearings again. Yeah. So
yeah.
let me hear a little bit more of that, like feeling of like coming to and processing what's on the screen, the readings.
A plasma burst captain with a Romulan signature.
Good. Can I get a little bit more of that feeling of like haziness?
A plasma burst captain with a Romulan signature.
Okay, yeah, so it's a little more like a stutter. Can we actually slow it down a little bit? Like you're just like, oh, I'm coming to, what was it? Oh, it's a plasma burst. Like, so you're like play into the haziness a little bit more.
A plasma burst captain with a Romulan signature.
Okay, all right, yeah. So you feel how it's a little bit different energy than, right, than the first where it's just like the urgency. And the reason for that is we want it to have variety. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's look at the next line. So what has just happened on the next line?
Let's see. The descriptor says frustrated looking into viewer.
Okay, frustrated. All right, so here we're frustrated.
Yes.
How would somebody say something if they're frustrated?
It is, sir, but it's barely a shadow on our sensors.
Yeah, so we need to hear that, like, this is upsetting to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to hear more of that, like, I'm unhappy about this. Yeah, try that again.
It is, sir, but it's barely a shadow on our sensors.
Yeah, so here, you say but, so it's like they just said something and you're like, yeah, but this, so it's like, they're saying something and you're like, that won't work, or, this is why you're wrong, right? So I need more of that, like, conflicted feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try it.
It is, sir, but it's barely a shadow on our sensors.
Yeah, good. Good. You feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. All right, let's try looking at the next line. So what's happening here?
He's still frustrated. Let's see. It says cloaked Romulan ship moving against the thundercloud. Mr. Adams frustrated.
The emissions from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us a clear reading, sir. Even those protomatter discharges are too weak to show her up.
Yeah. So here, you're still frustrated. So it's like you're trying to, get things to work, but it's not. It's like, ugh, I can't get it to, like, we can't do it because it can't read it because of this. And it's like, I tried this and I tried this, and it's just like, I just keep running into a wall, right? So I need a little bit more of that, like, oh, I'm mad this isn't working kind of feeling.
Okay. The emissions from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us a clear reading, sir. Even those protomatter discharges are too weak to show her up.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think you can play with it not always just being a clearly spoken dialogue, but like you can do things like, ugh, with your voice, or like add that into like, I'm trying this, but it's not working. Like you can add texture to the vocal quality and stuff too. You can make it, sound, you can do like a, like a sigh in there. I think you can play with some expressive elements vocally as well.
Okay. The emissions from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us a clear reading, sir. Even the protomatter discharges are too weak to show her up.
Yeah, you feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it adds, we aren't going to do that necessarily when we're narrating, but when you're playing the character, I think that works really beautifully. Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so then let's go ahead and look at the next line.
The captain responds and says, wait, protomatter, couldn't we? And then Mr. Adams, catching on.
Yes, sir. Not phasers, but a concentrated burst of photon torpedoes in the right spot could ignite the protomatter.
Yeah, so there you're excited, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. So it's like you two, you're like reading their mind, and you're just like, oh, yeah, that could work, So I need you to be more excited about this, yeah?
Yeah.
Try it again.
Yes, sir. Not phasers, but a concentrated burst of photon torpedoes in the right spot could ignite the protomatter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so totally different energy on this line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so also keep in mind you're cutting them off, right? So can I hear a little bit more of that, like jumping in there, like that energy of like you're interrupting and you're like, yeah, and so I need a little bit more of that, like, oh, that's a great idea. I just thought of this. This could work, so I need a little bit more of you like jumping on it.
Okay. Yes, sir. Not phasers, but a concentrated burst of photon torpedoes in the right spot could ignite the protomatter.
Yeah, exactly. You feel that? Or it's a
Yeah.
little more of like hopping on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So then what is the next line?
Okay. The descriptor is warning. Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Nice. Good. All right. So here, are you scared? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you bummed out about that? Like, how do you feel about this?
Let's see. It says Bodicha fires a volley of photon torpedoes. Pan over to show them speeding toward the Thundercloud Nebula. Cloaked Romulan ship moving against the Thundercloud Nebula suddenly becomes more distant as the protomatter explosion spreads and grows suddenly bright behind it. Mr. Adams warning the captain, Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Okay, so here it's a warning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here it needs to have that like grab their attention and you need to be warning them. So you're worried about this. You're like, oh no, they're doing this. Uh-oh. You know, so it has to be that feeling of like, I'm scared and I'm warning you.
Okay. Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Yeah. All right, good. Can we have the captain sound more alarmed?
Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Good. Can we make captain and a little pause and then make the enemy is coming about sound a little different? So like I could do like captain, the enemy is coming about, you know, like something different. Like you could do pacing, pitch change, just something changes about that.
Okay. Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel the difference?
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. All right. So then let's try just a couple different ways on that line, just like a little bit of variety. So try it like you're like exasperated.
Captain, the enemy is coming about.
All right, now try it like you think that it's ridiculous and like it's like, what are they doing? That's ridiculous.
Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Good. Now try it like you are bemused.
Captain, the enemy is coming about.
Yeah. So sometimes just trying it a few different ways, you never know which one's going to be their favorite. And so a lot of the time, like especially if I'm not in a live directed session, I'll send them like 3 different takes of the same line and just make it different. And that way they can sort of play with like what just happened before. Cause I don't know necessarily how the other people are going to read their lines either. So then sometimes it'll surprise me which one they pick. You know, like my first instinct is usually the first take, but then I'll just like try a couple different things just so they have some options. And so that can be a really helpful way to approach it sometimes. Yeah. So just playing like that.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. You might be surprised which one they choose. You might be like, oh, I wouldn't have thought they would pick that one. But sometimes it ends up flowing better as a whole. So yeah, being able to adjust a little bit. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what's the next line?
Okay. Another warning.
Okay. A warning. All right. So what would you say is what are the most important keywords here?
The line is, sir, they're bringing the warp drive online. So, sir, to get the captain's attention, and warp drive. That's what they're bringing. And that's
okay. Like all right. So I want you to play with really emphasizing those keywords, bringing those out. Let's try that.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Yeah, I like that. Emphasizing those important words and then really think about the point of view you have for any people, places, or things. So like sir and warp drive. You know, is warp drive like, are you like, whoa, they've got warp drive? That's awesome. Are you like, uh-oh, they're doing this now. Are you like, are you accusatory? Like, how dare they? Are you begging him to help you because you're like, I don't know what to do? So, what do you think?
I think he's concerned.
Okay. All right, try it again.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Good. Can I hear a little bit more of that, like, uh-oh, this makes me feel really nervous?
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Yeah, exactly. Good. And then let's try it like you're flustered.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Yeah. And then let's try it like you are panicked.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Now let's try like you're agitated.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Now let's try it like you are horrified.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
And now like you are intimidated.
Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, you feel the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just those like slight changes. I mean, all of those words kind of tie into feeling scared, but it's like the slight nuance changes the way we express it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those little tweaks in just like the self-direction, since you don't have them right with you, can help you just make some fun new discoveries. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Good. And then what's the next line?
Mr. Adams is now relieved. Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline and she is adrift. Their life support is damaged but functioning.
Nice. Okay, good. Yeah. So let's try it like you're really glad.
Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline and she is adrift. Their life support system is damaged but functioning.
Good. Now let's try like you're really thankful or like grateful in this moment to the captain.
Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline and she is adrift. Their life support system is damaged but functioning.
Good. Yeah. Now let's try like you're really comforted or maybe reassured.
Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline and she is adrift. Their life support system is damaged but functioning.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. You feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, like we just tried a slightly different direction, and it helped us to have some variety. So yeah, very, very nice. So I definitely think we got some good takes there. And the thing is, there isn't necessarily like a right or a wrong necessarily. It's just kind of what the director envisions for this moment. And it sounds like they have a pretty clear idea of what they want. Some directors are more hands off and like, you just show me your ideas. And some are very like, this is exactly what I want. And so, so that's where I feel like giving them, they've given you some direction, but giving them like a few options can be really helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. All right. So let's go ahead and try. I want you to try from the top, and basically I want it to be like there's something has to change on every line. So every line has to have a different energy to it. Okay?
Okay. I'm going to record this time then.
Great.
A plasma burst, Captain, with a Romulan signature.
Yeah.
It is, sir, but it's barely a shadow on our sensors. The emission from the nebula isn't strong enough to give us a clear reading, sir. Even those protomatter discharges are too weak to show her up. Yes, sir. Not phasers, but a concentrated burst of photon torpedoes in the right spot could ignite the protomatter. Captain, the enemy is coming about. Sir, they're bringing their warp drive online. Captain, the enemy's primary systems are offline and she is adrift. Their life support system is damaged, but functioning. Captain, their impulse drive is coming online. Captain, the protomatter explosion cleared the energy in a small section of the nebula wall, and they're making straight for it. If the nebula doesn't finish them first, they're still going to have a bumpy ride. It's difficult to be certain, sir, but the buoys picked up a faint reading of activity inside the nebula in this vicinity. Scanning. Sir, I'm detecting an energy reading beyond the nebular wall. It's a Romulan plasma torpedo. No, sir, Unknown, Captain, but it ignited a pocket of protomatter much like we did, and... Sir, I'm detecting a ship coming through the gap it created. Sir, the Romulans' weapons are powered down. They haven't even raised shields.
Nice. Good. Yes. Good. Nice. Good adjustments and variations there. Give me just 1 second. Ooh. I'm just wrapping up a call. Awesome. Okay, so what changed on that time through, thinking back to where we started, what felt different there?
I kind of got more into what was actually happening, and it kind of like became like the person who is experiencing all these things.
Right.
And I looked more closely into the descriptors.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Okay, yes. Yeah, so paying attention to any like notation that they give you, right? That can be a guide. So, if they are giving you little, you'll see that, that's going to be, you see that in sheet music. You see that in scripts where they're like, okay, so adagio or presto, like they give you like energy readings, or they give you like, passionately, or angry, like accusatory, right? So anytime you have anything that's like a guiding thing there, take that note and think like, how loud or soft should I be here? Is it going to escalate and like speed up? Is it going to be a little more stretched and slowed down? Is it going to pay attention to things like, is my pitch raising? Is my pitch lowering here? And really lean into that. Because that's what really makes it more dramatic and exciting and active and alive. If we kind of do it all the same, it's going to feel, it's just going to feel a little more level. And the thing is, this is a really intense, moment, right? Yeah. It shouldn't be something that just feels kind of like, oh, it's just mellow and all the same, right? Yeah. This is pretty dramatic, and animated and exciting, So think about the intensity, and I think like variety. Yeah. So we don't want it to be expressed all the same way. We want it to vary throughout. What would you say is maybe the number one thing that you felt like improved?
I think the variety of my tones.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, changing the tone colors throughout. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that made a really big difference. And, a lot of the time we would feel like, oh, I should kind of keep the same kind of tone throughout. But here I agree, it should change depending on the moment. Yeah. What do you feel like is maybe the number one thing that was like, oh, I could feel that I was making progress here, but I definitely want to like work on that a little bit more?
I feel like the hamming it up part.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little more hammed up. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like you tend to be somebody that's like just yourself, like very grounded and very like stable, like anchored, and this is going to be a little more like off the handle kind of a feeling, where like that's pretty contrasting to your nature, right? Yeah. I feel like you tend to be someone who's like grounded and secure and like stable and like level-headed, and this is going to be much more like there's some just a little more like reactive.
Yeah.
You know, whereas you're very sure of yourself. So that's a contrast, right? So we have to think about the character
Right.
and how we bring that out. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So then what's going to be your goal then? Do you have like a time frame, or like how long are you going to give yourself to practice this? Are you going to try recording it? What do you think?
I think I'm ready to do it today. I think I'll
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You made some really good progress and really good changes there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Do you want to maybe, when you feel like you get it to a good spot, maybe just email me the recording so I could take a listen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it after you feel like you polish it a little bit more.
Okay.
And really like lock it down. Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful work. I'm so excited that you're working on this.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity.
Next time we meet, could we do it at 4 Pacific
yeah.
time? So that would
Yeah,
be
let me check.
7 your time.
Yeah. So that would be in 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that would be the 12th.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. So could you do, let me think, either 3:30 or 5 instead?
Can I get back to you? I need
Yeah.
to figure out because
I might be able to adjust. I just have somebody else at that 4 o'clock window. So she might be able to adjust. Sometimes she can like move a little bit. So yeah, if we could meet like slightly before that or slightly after would be
3:30
good.
or 5. Yeah, I will text you.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, just let me know which one works better,
Yeah,
okay?
sounds good.
All right, awesome. Well, I will plan to see you in 2 weeks then, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bye, Robert. Great
Bye.
work today.